Hello there folks, my name is Spooks and welcome back to an episode of Box Office Chat. This is the show where I break down the top 5 domestic box office results, see where each movie landed, and see how well each movie did, so let's get started. Number 5 was Bring Her Back, opening with $7 million this weekend domestically and $8 million worldwide. I didn't really bring up this movie last week because I didn't have a feeling this was going to leave a big impact in the top 5, and my expectations were correct. I saw that there was some hype and some buzz surrounding this movie, but that was mostly relegated to the film community. I didn't see it really expand outside that much, which is surprising because Talk to Me, the filmmaker's previous film, was able to expand and overperform to the degree it did. And unfortunately, while this isn't doing bad per se, it didn't reach that film's heights, which is definitely concerning. I think they kind of undersold this movie with the marketing. I think A24 really needs to strive to get into some more creative marketing endeavors. I saw promos for this, but it was mostly just people talking about how good the movie is. Really, they didn't do anything really like eye-catching to grab people's attention. I mean, look what happened with Neon and the Monkey. So I think the marketing kind of undersold the movie here, but the good thing here is that it wasn't that expensive to make. This is a $15 million movie. It should make that back very soon, and people seem to be enjoying it pretty well. Critics like it, not as much as Talk to Me, but they're enjoying it, and audiences seem to be enjoying it on par with Talk to Me. It got a B+ on Cinema Score, so the legs might be solid enough to get it to a sleeper hit status, but I doubt it'll be as big of a sleeper hit as Talk to Me was. Yeah, not a bad opening, but nothing too grand either. Number 4 was Final Destination Bloodlines, making $10 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $111 million, and its worldwide total to $230 million. Again, Final Destination proving itself to be the first big surprise of the summer for sure. I doubt a lot of people had the foresight to see this movie reaching these heights, because again, prior to this, the biggest film in this franchise made $66 million, and it's already soared past well over 30 million past that milestone. Not only that, but it's also at 230 million worldwide. That is insane. It's gonna get to 250 million worldwide. Again, huge accomplishment for this franchise. It's showing that this movie is able to maintain its core audience. The word of mouth is still pretty strong with this movie, and with the fact that there's not much competition. Yes, Bring Her Back definitely stole a bit of this movie's audience this weekend for sure, but as regard to like big horror franchises, still got some time before 28 years later at the end of this month. So yeah, Final Destination I think is just gonna cruise along for now. At least it's gonna slow down in a couple weeks for sure, as I definitely felt like the last weekend's bump in the road did put a dent in things, but still though, hugely successful, big numbers for this movie. I can't see anyone being disappointed or upset over how well this movie has done thus far. Number 3 was Karate Kid Legends, opening with $20 million this weekend domestically and $46 million worldwide. This is the 5th biggest opening of the summer. It tops Bring Her Back, but still sits behind Final Destination Bloodlines, Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning, Thunderbolts, and Lilo & Stitch. Yeah, as I was expecting, it didn't do horrible or anything, but it didn't do anything substantial either. I'm sure there were a lot of Karate Kid fans who went out to go check this movie out, and maybe even some Cobra Kai fans who wanted to see if there was any big connections to the series, but I just think that there was just not much interest in this movie, unfortunately, which is shocking to see, because considering how massive the legacy is of the original Karate Kid, it spawned the biggest Netflix show ever. I just think that they just didn't really do too good with the marketing for this movie. Again, I saw a couple things here and there, but nothing was like big or grand like Mission Impossible or Lilo & Stitch. Speaking of which, also sandwiching it the week after those two juggernauts crushed it on Memorial Day weekend probably wasn't the best idea. Maybe they thought it would benefit from being the first new one after that and benefit from those the hype dying down for those movies, but clearly that did not help it out either. The benefit here though are, first off, the budget for the film. It only costed $45 million. It's already made that back worldwide, so that's a good sign. And audiences seem to be enjoying it fine enough. It got an A- on Cinema Score compared to other summer movies. It's on par with Mission Impossible and Thunderbolts, so we'll see how this movie stands against those two. And also, while it's under the original Karate Kid and the 2010 Karate Kid with Jaden Smith, it's also above Karate Kid 3 and the next Karate Kid. So that's a sign of good things. Maybe the word of mouth is better than we expect. Maybe it carries it to sleeper hit status, but I doubt it's going to be what the studio was hoping for this movie. This was supposed to be like the big legacy sequel, the merging of the two other previous Karate Kid movies, and maybe even starting a new franchise, but clearly the interest just wasn't there for this movie. Who knows, maybe word of mouth is strong with this one, but I don't think it's going to lead to anything substantial. So yeah, Karate Kid Legends, not a great opening, not terrible, but like with Bring Her Back, nothing too spectacular either. Number 2 was Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, making $27 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $122 million and its worldwide total to $353 million. So yeah, it did take quite a hit this weekend, though I think that was larger part due to the fact that last week was Memorial Day weekend, because the other movie that we're going to get to soon also faced a big drop. So I think a lot of that was just due to the Memorial Day rush, and most of the diehard fans wanted to go check it out, and obviously not too many people were as available as they were last weekend, but still, that's definitely a bit concerning. We'll see where this movie heads further down the road. If it's able to bounce back like Final Destination did, then I think it'll be on the right track, and we can hopefully see it surpassing the other Mission Impossible films. Certainly hopeful it passes the Dead Reckoning, but yeah, definitely something to keep an eye out on for. As all things considered, it still seems to be heading on the right track right now. It's still outpacing Fallout, which is really solid to see. And on the worldwide side of things, it is just $50 million away from surpassing the initial production budget of $400 million. Hey, you gotta take what you can get with a movie as expensive as it is, and hopefully we can see it crack 500 million worldwide very soon. Again, it's not going to be able to get where it needs to, unfortunately. Again, the movie was just way too expensive, but again, I feel like it's heading on the right path. It just needs to stay there. Again, the competition, there is competition, but it's not as fierce as what Dead Reckoning had to go through. So yeah, definitely a concerning drop off, but hopefully it bounces back after this weekend, because I still think it's still on the right path. It's just that just a lot of obstacles preventing it from being the hit it needs to. And finally, let's end the video off with the number 1 movie of the weekend, which was once again Lilo and Stitch, making $61 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $278 million and its worldwide total to $613 million. So yeah, this one also faced a steeper than expected drop-off, certainly from me, given the A Cinema Score rating. I also believe this is in larger part due to the Memorial Day weekend. Lots of families, lots of kids were out for the holiday weekend, and obviously this weekend not as available. But yeah, definitely concerning, especially for a family film that opened to as big of an opening as it did. I think it's gonna be able to bounce back after this weekend. Again, it's the only big family film out right now, and people, general audiences at least, still seem to be enjoying this movie. But if it does face another drop off again, then I think we should be raising cause for concern. With that said, though, this movie has already made as much as it needed to. I don't even think the studio's really that concerned over the drop off this weekend. Again, the movie was only $100 million. It's already doubled that domestically, and it's more than quintupled that worldwide. Already surpassed 500 million. It's already at 600 million. I definitely think $1 billion is on the horizon for this movie. We're just gonna have to see how it holds. Again, it's still got some time, but that time is still pretty short. It's got another 2 weeks until How to Train Your Dragon, and another 3 weeks until Elio hit theaters, stealing a lot of the family audience for this movie. So it's got to keep moving. It's got to keep moving fast, but I still think it's going to be able to surpass a couple milestones for itself. Again, still doing really, really well despite the big drop off this weekend. We'll just see how much higher this movie can go, because it's clear that people are loving this movie and enjoying it a lot. It's just, I think this is definitely a bump in the road, same way what we saw with Final Destination. Again, if we see another big drop off for this and even Mission Impossible, then yeah, let's raise some alarm bells, wave some red flags. Then we can start discussing like the word of mouth on both of these movies. But yeah, I still think this movie's in a good place. I still think it's doing largely very well, and I'm sure the studio is very happy with how much money the movie has made. So yeah, definitely not a great hold for the film for sure, but it's still made a ton of money all around. It's still going to be a huge success at the end of the day. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Box Office Chat, but we're not quite done yet, as we've got another week ahead of us and new movies hitting theaters. And this weekend we have one new major wide release, that film being Ballerina, the first of apparently many spin-offs of the John Wick franchise. Ana de Armas plays an assassin who wants to learn in the ways of the Baba Yaga, pretty much. Now, the John Wick franchise has been one of those franchises that started small but has quickly grown much bigger than what it was expected it to be, and obviously with the name and even the man himself apparently in this movie, I'm sure a lot of the diehard John Wick fans are gonna rush out to see it. I think the marketing has been pretty solid. I've been seeing a lot of promos and stuff for this film. However, I'm not sure if it's gonna reach the heights of the John Wick films, you know, the really big ones. I shouldn't say it like that, all of them are great. Regardless, I'm not sure if it's going to be able to do that. The fact that it's a spin-off that has had a couple of production problems, it was delayed from last year to really refine the action sequences, and there's been some controversy over the studio's handling on the embargo lift, some unnecessary drama involving that. Again, I think the studio handled that poorly, but also I'm not seeing as much buzz with this movie as I did with the main John Wick movies. Those were hyped up to no end, where this one people are like, oh yeah, I might go see that. But still though, I still think there's enough people interested in checking this out. I think the buzz is there, and the marketing being so solid that I don't think it's going to be quite the disappointment like Karate Kid Legends was. I just don't know if it's going to reach the heights of what John Wick is known for. So yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see where this movie lands. I'm hopeful for another solid performance in the John Wick franchise, but I don't know, I feel like this is going to be one of the lower performing ones, unfortunately. Not to say it's going to flop or bomb or anything, but I'm not sure if it's going to reach the heights of the previous couple movies. But we'll see how well this movie truly does, as well as the rest of the movies that land in the top 5 on the next Box Office Chat. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Box Office Chat. What did you all think of the results? Were you satisfied, unsatisfied? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all those social media links right there. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.